Trump's big, beautiful bill. Robin Hood in reverse. Stealing from the working class and giving it to the capitalists. There are many lessons in the passage of Trump's big bill. One of the most fundamental is that open class warfare now drives our politics. Economic classes are groups of people who have the same economic interests. Our class, the working class, is the majority of us who must sell our ability to work in order to live. Then there is the capitalist class, who are less than 1% of us, who own the means of production, the electronic media, factories, banks, mines, etc., and who use the labor of the working class to make money. There is a war between those of us who supply the labor that produces wealth versus the private owners who take the wealth from us. Trump's big bill gives over $3 trillion in permanent tax cuts for the 1%, giving the 1 million people who are already worth $50 trillion an extra $100,000 a year. What do working people get? The tax cuts and healthcare cuts will cost the poorest of us over $1,600. Suddenly, there is no tax at all on corporations that produce oil, coal, or fracking from digging up our communities. Global warming is literally going up in smoke. Almost 20 million people will lose their health care through permanent cuts to Medicare. 330 hospitals, mostly rural, are in great danger of closing. Estimates are that 51,000 more people will die each year to pay for these tax cuts for the 1%, people who can easily pay for medical care. The big beautiful bill is the biggest robbery of working people by the capitalists in our country's history. But don't just take the R&T collective's word for it. The leading Democrats are saying the same thing, and saying the same thing, and saying the same thing. In fact, except for Bernie, AOC, and other progressives, that is all the Democrats are doing. But do not be fooled. The Democratic Party are the good cops, the Republican Party the bad cops. The Republican and Democrat may differ on how to ensure that the rich keep getting richer. Class warfare is real. Capitalism simply will not pay for those it cannot be exploited for private profits. But they are both cops that represent the capitalist. The Republican and Democrat may differ on how to ensure that the rich keep getting richer. But their goals are the same: protect private property and the exploitation of working people. They both work for the capitalist class. Class warfare is real. Capitalism simply will not pay for those it cannot exploit for private profits. Robots and AI are taking jobs across the board. Capitalism is building a laborless economy where humans need not apply. The capitalist class is well organized and has a concerted plan to impose fascism. At the root is always a business plan. The working class must organize itself. Since class warfare is capitalist's plan of action, all of us who sell our labor and provide corporate profits cannot win unless we know we are at war. Revolutionaries recognized to fight as a class means we must unite as a class and defend every one of us. We have never been here before. Workers being displaced by the market are becoming a revolutionary class because we have no stake in the system and cannot survive without confronting it. We need food, housing, education, and healthcare. We need an opportunity to contribute to society and to help save the planet. We need freedom from police terror, mass incarceration, and gender oppression. We fight for a government that takes care of people first. Ultimately, this requires public ownership of the means to create wealth, the land, infrastructure, and technology, and distribution according to need. The fight for basic needs propels every other social struggle because none of society's social, moral, or ecological problems can be solved as long as the private property system exists. We can fight and win.
I didn't know the world was ending. I didn't know God's wrath was next. I never seen that many trolls down a rabbit hole until I went and logged into X. I asked the man what to do with my fingers, and the man didn't disappoint. He said, I'll tell you a story, look at that minority, and point. And peace ain't turning a profit, and love ain't making a buck. takes two to tango. If they need a bad guy, the man's gonna make one up.